Welcome to my world history notes. Now that I've finished reading through my book, The Bible Believer Looks at World History, I'm going to start with events after World War II. And because they fold into each other and they kind of the events of World War II kind of are meshed in and segue for what comes later, the Cold War and things like that, the communists attempted takeover of the world. Um, because of that, I'm going to start at the beginning of 1945 and with the end of World War II and specific events. I'm going to get more detailed. I'm learning. I'm trying to study myself, so I'm sharing with you things I've learned. Now, some things I knew, some things you knew, some things we might find out that we didn't know that are interesting. So I'm going to start with events in Western Europe in January of 1945, and we'll go from there. My cat Cassie, and she lives here, so if she wants to walk in front of me, that's fine. Just kind of hurried her along. All right, so here we are. Now, let's begin. As 1945 began, now remember the Battle of the Bulge is raging. The Battle of the Bulge was a German attempted breakout. It already had a victory at Operation Market Garden that failed when we tried to go through into Germany through Holland. And now they were trying to burst out and get to Antwerp and cut the Allied armies in half, which would have been devastating for our invasion of Europe. And we have to always remember, as Patton said, that they were always in danger of losing. Uh, the Allies were. That so, but the Battle of the Bulge was a failed attempt to do that breakout. And during that, the German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, began Operation Bodenplatte, an attempt to cripple Allied air forces in what is called the Low Countries. Now, that's Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. Now, although it was planned for mid-December to assist the stalled efforts of Germany in the Battle of the Bulge, it was delayed due to bad weather until January 1st. The ultimate failure was that the Luftwaffe's last gasp, so to speak, as only a portion of its combat groups made the attack on time or by surprise. During the Battle of Bulge, there were a great many atrocities committed by both sides in the desperate fighting, including the Chinon massacre in Belgium, which the Allies did in retaliation for the Malmedy massacre, where in the Chinon massacre, 80 German prisoners were gunned down allegedly by units of the U.S. 11th Armored Division, and I read it was in retaliation for the previous massacre. Now, on the Eastern Front, the Battle of Oder-Neisse was initiated by the Soviet Red Army against the retreating German forces. At the same time, the Soviet-backed communist organization called the Polish Committee of National Liberation, established in 1994, was denied recognition by the British government. On the same day, January 1st, 1945, Hitler issued two speeches, including a New Year's Day address offering no information on the progress of battles on the Eastern or Western fronts or indicating that Germany was being beaten. Instead, he said that Germany would continue until it achieved victory. I doubt anyone was buying that. The speeches were to the Nazi Party on the one hand and to the German army, the Wehrmacht, on the other. Just imagine the delusion and the criminality of giving false hope to a defeated but still proud people. And in his speech to the military, it was like you'd think. Well, first off, both speeches mention this vast Jewish international world conspiracy that was set up to destroy Germany, which is his reason for fighting. Which is, I don't believe is true. I'm certain that it's not. It was a justification for him to do what he did to the Jews. Um, imagine a leader of a country calling half of its citizenship or a great many of a significant number of its citizens, basically calling them terrorists and extremists who were a threat to the country. People that worked, people that paid taxes, people that provided necessary goods and services, people that were law-abiding, people that uh, went to school, had trades. Imagine a leader of a country doing that and stating that. It's kind of chilling because that's the beginning of when you down the road to the concentration camp. But Hitler was accusing the West of uh, part of this Jewish international conspiracy and the communists on the East that he attacked, that he betrayed. And he talks to his soldiers about he still acts like this was a fight for life and death that they had to do. The World War II, his invasion, his attacks, it was just a desperation effort to keep Germany from being destroyed by this vast conspiracy. So anyway, um, he he simply did not even acknowledge the desperation, the desperate nature of Germany's situation. So I'm going to post that link to those speeches. You can look at them. Now, the Royal Air Force of Great Britain bombed Nuremberg and Ludwigshafen the January 2nd, unleashing over 2,300 tons of bombs and destroying 90% of Nuremberg's medieval town center, which is a significant thing. When people say that we only dropped the atom bomb on Japan because of racism, which is absurd, look at how we destroyed Dresden and Nuremberg with conventional weapons. We were trying to win the war. On the same day, a U.S. bombardment fleet, but this was the day after New Year's Day, bound for Luzon in the Philippines, left Leyte during the Philippines campaign. And that was also called the Battle of the Philippines and the Liberation of the Philippines, or Operation Musketeer 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to continue next time, and I hope that you will take some of this information and run with it and study it and learn about it. I really hope you like world history. We're going to get detailed in the Cold War, the communist movement. Very important because it overshadows everything that's happened, and there's something that connected in things that happen, and it's all interconnected. So anyway, we'll just look at the facts, and I'll make some conclusions. I'm a Bible believer, so you won't agree with me, but that's okay, as long as you have your own conclusions that you got from studying on your own. Thank you.